Hello my dear students. How's everyone? I hope you are all fine and doing well. Today we have reading. So get ready with your student book. Pages 98 and 99. Okay. Dear students, we have one objective today, which I hope you will have achieved by the end of our class today. Here it is. Analyze 3 texts to determine their types, kind of information each includes and language features of each.
I am Sir Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle. I was born on 22nd May 1859. I am a British writer and physician. I am the one who created the character of Sherlock Holmes in 1887. For a Study in Scarlet, the first of 4 novels and 56 short stories about Holmes and Dr. Watson. The Sherlock Holmes stories are considered milestones in the field of crime fiction.
Let me tell you that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle died in the 7th of July, 1930. Listen now to the following questions and determine if they are true or false. I know that not all of you know the answers, but I am sure that some of you do. Here we go. 1. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle created Sherlock Holmes. 2. Dr. Watson is Holmes' enemy. 3. Sherlock Holmes lived at 221B Baker Street. 4. Sherlock Holmes' first book was published in 1990. Now, pause the video and answer. Look now and check your answers. 1 true. Yes, very good. 2 false. Dr. Watson was his royal friend. 3 true. 4 false. It was in 1887. Can any of you now tell me something about Sherlock Holmes?
Yes, teacher. I can. Sherlock Holmes is a fictional character who was created by the Scottish author, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Holmes is a detective, based in London, famous for his excellent detective skills and his ability to use logic and reason to solve crimes. Dr. Watson is his loyal assistant and travel companion. Sherlock Holmes stories are deemed a notable innovation in crime fiction.
Thank you so much, Adele. Now, go to your student book. Page 98. Read quickly through the 3 texts, A to C, and tell what type of texts they are, and where you would find each of them. I'll play you the audio, so that you can practice both reading and listening at the same time. Moreover, it helps you skim the 3 texts quickly. I will be back soon, waiting for your answer.
A. The Sign of the Four. The Sign of the Four by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was the second novel to feature the famous detective Sherlock Holmes. Interestingly, it was not particularly well received when it was first published. Today, however, it has become more popular, and I consider it to be, without doubt, one of the best stories written about Sherlock Holmes. The story begins when Holmes is approached by a young woman, Mary Morstan, who asks for his help in investigating the mysterious circumstances surrounding her father's disappearance. As Holmes and his friend Dr. Watson begin to look into the case, it is revealed that Miss Morstan's father disappeared after finding a large amount of treasure which is currently in the hands of one of his friend's sons. To find out what happened, Holmes and Watson pay these sons a visit, only to find that someone has broken in and the treasure is missing. Holmes deduces who broke into the room and took the treasure, and this leads him on a chase to find a mysterious wooden-legged man in order to solve the case. If you're looking for a complicated plot full of twists and turns, this story is a great choice. For me, however, this book's greatest strength is how the author builds up the character of Holmes. As always, it is a pleasure to see the detective's reasoning skills in action. But the author also describes his peculiar habits and personality traits, which present him as a likable and sympathetic character, despite his intelligence and extraordinary powers of observation. B.
Now, Watson,
said Holmes, rubbing his hands.
we have half an hour to ourselves. Now to work. Someone entered this room, but how? And how did they leave? The door has not been opened since last night. What about the window?
He carried the lamp across to it, muttering his observations aloud, but speaking to himself rather than to me.
Window is locked on the inner side. Framework is solid. No hinges at the side. Let us open it. No water pipe near. Roof quite out of reach. Yet a man has been here for sure. It rained a little last night. Here is a footprint upon the sill. And here is a circular muddy mark. And here again upon the floor. And here again by the table. See here, Watson?
I looked at the round, muddy circles. This is not a footmark, said I.
It is something much more valuable to us. It is the impression of a wooden stump. You see here on the sill is the boot mark, a heavy boot with the broad metal heel, and beside it is the round mark.
Holmes cried. It is a wooden-legged man, I remarked.
Quite so. But there has been someone else, a very able and efficient ally. Could you climb that wall, Doctor?
It is absolutely impossible, I answered.
Without help it is. But if you had arranged for a friend to be up here, they would be able to lower you this strong rope, which I see in the corner. They could secure one end of it to this great hook in the wall. Yes, if you use the rope, then you could climb up. You would depart, of course, in the same way, and your ally would pull up the rope, untie it from the hook, shut to the window, lock it on the inside, and get away in the way that he originally came. As a minor point, it may be noted,
he continued, fingering the rope,
that our wooden-legged friend, though a good climber, was not a professional sailor, as his hands were not rough. If his hands had been rough, he would not have left these marks. As it is, we can see several blood marks, especially towards the end of the rope, from which I gather that he slipped down with such speed that he took the skin off his hands.
C.
You are probably familiar with the name Sherlock Holmes. One of the most well-known and enduring characters in British literature, the fictional detective was created by Scottish writer Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote a total of 56 stories and 4 novels about him. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle initially trained as a doctor, during which time he was impressed by the observation and reasoning skills of one of his professors, who was able to observe the tiniest detail about a patient's condition and draw conclusions from it. It was this that inspired him to create the eccentric yet brilliant character of Sherlock Holmes. Not only through the books, but also through the stage and screen, the world has become familiar with the detective. The name Sherlock Holmes has become a byword for investigation and observation, and his mantra, "When you have excluded the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth," is often quoted as an example of deductive reasoning.
Having skimmed the three texts, I need you to tell me which text is a part of an article, a part of a novel, or a book review. Of course, you can never decide which type each text is unless you identify certain aspects or features through which you can tell which is which. That's why. Let's work on this table and provide the missing information first. Which text provides an outline of the plot? Which one gives information about the author? Which one gives factual details about the book? Which one describes events? And finally, which one gives an opinion on the writing style? Once you do this activity, you can, accordingly, tell which text is a part of either a novel, an article, or a book review. Pause the video for some time and answer. Which text provides an outline of the plot?
Look at the definition of the word plot. And this will help answer. Text B is part of a novel or short story. So I would expect to find it in a book.
Can you justify your answer?
If you look at text B, you can easily tell that this text is certainly taken from a novel. The text contains characters like Watson and Holmes. It also has a setting. Someone entered this room. It's full of direct and indirect speeches, like, "I looked at the round muddy circles. This is not a footmark, said I."
Which one gives information about the author?
Look at the definition of the word author, and you can decide which text or texts the answer is. That's why. Text C gives factual information about an author and his life.
Text C is part of an article. So I would expect to find it in a magazine. Or perhaps in an online magazine. Or a newspaper.
Can you justify your answer?
The fictional detective was created by Scottish writer Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote a total of 56 stories and 4 novels about him. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle initially trained as a doctor, during which time he was impressed by the observation and reasoning skills of one of his professors, who was able to observe the tiniest detail about a patient's condition and draw conclusions from it. It was this that inspired him to create the eccentric yet brilliant character of Sherlock Holmes.
Which one gives factual details about the book?
Text A is. It gives factual details about the book being reviewed. Text A is a book review, so it would probably appear either in a newspaper or on a website.
I need you to give me evidence from the text, Ahmed.
The writer of this review book gave a description of the story and mentioned how significant the story is.
Which one describes events?
Text B describes the events that take place at a point in the story.
Can you justify your answer?
If you go through the whole extract, you will find a lot of events described. Here is an example. The writer here describes how Holmes was rubbing his hands and how someone entered the room and he carried the lamp.
And finally, which one gives an opinion on the writing style?
Text A does. It gives an opinion on the author's writing style. If you follow these underlined sentences you can get it, teacher. If you're looking for a complicated plot, full of twists and turns, this story is a great choice.
Let's go to Activity B. Here, you are required to go through the 5 key features. Pause the video for some time and find out which one, or ones, apply to the 3 texts. Write A, B or C in the boxes. Let me read you the 5 features, myself. 1. Which of the 3 texts uses direct speech? 2. Which of them contains descriptive language? 3. Which one provides a summary of events? 4. Which one gives personal opinions? 5. And finally, which one addresses the reader directly? I want you to work on your speed. Where are my good students? Hey! Come on. I think Ibrahim likes to answer number 1.
Text B is the one where direct speech used. This text is a part of a story, as we said before, where such a feature is commonly used to make the story vivid and lifelike. Let me provide you with evidence, sir. Here it is. Now, Watson, said Holmes, rubbing his hands. We have half an hour to ourselves. Now to work. Someone entered this room. But, how, and how did they leave? The door has not been opened, since last night. What about the window? See my teacher. Those quotation marks make it clear that it is direct speech.
Who else likes to participate? Great. Here is Jasm. 2. Which of them contains descriptive language?
Both the text from the novel, text B, and the one from the book review, that's text A, have descriptive language. If you have a look at these underlined words, you can get my point.
Three. Which one provides the summary of events? Anyone else? Thank you, Omar. What about the others?
Of course, it is text A. This text has a summary of the Sign of the Four novel. Simply, because it is a book review. Look at the highlighted part, for evidence.
Four. Which one gives personal opinions? Very good. Here is Khalid.
I think, teacher, the text that gives personal opinions is text A. While writing a book review, a personal opinion has to be involved. Here is my evidence from the text. I will read part of it. If you're looking for a complicated plot, full of twists and turns, this story is a great choice. For me, however, this book's greatest strength is how the author builds up the character of Holmes.
Five. And finally, which one addresses the reader directly?
We have two texts here, where the writer addresses the reader directly. These texts are A and C. Let me show my evidence, sir. See how the writer is using the second person here addressing the reader. You. In each. If you are looking for a complicated plot. And when he says you are probably familiar with the name Sherlock Holmes.
If you feel like referring to the video of today, you can find it on the Microsoft Teams, as usual. I hope you have enjoyed our lesson today. Till we meet again. Thank you. Goodbye.